Hey, welcome to the channel. If you like stories where humanity refuses to kneel, subscribe and stay with us. Let's begin. They burned our worlds, glass craters where cities once stood, ash-choked skies over graves of billions. The Zithari Empire came like gods of judgment. Their fleets blotted out stars, their weapons carved continents into slag. They called us vermin, primitive, unworthy of the stars we had barely touched. Extinction just made us meaner. The first lance hit at dawn. A white-hot spear punched through the stratosphere. It split the Pacific, boiled half an ocean into steam. From the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Overlord Krazel watched the feed. His mandibles parted in what passed for a smile. "Observe," he broadcast to the fleet. His voice a wet rasp across neural links. Mammals, still warm-blooded, still fragile. On the ground, the sky turned noon-bright. Captain Elias Thorne was thrown 20 meters by the shockwave. He landed in a crater of his own making, ribs cracked, ears bleeding. Around him, Seattle's skyline folded like paper in fire. His wife's last message played on loop in his cracked visor. Elias, the baby's kicking. Then static. He crawled through molten glass, fingers blistering, until he found Clint's bunker hatch. Inside, 12 survivors, a pilot with half a face, an engineer cradling a severed arm, a teenage girl clutching a teddy bear blackened by soot. Thorne didn't speak. He just looked at them, eyes hollow, and they followed. Because someone had to. Night fell radioactive. Zithari drop pods rained like iron meteors. Each pod disgorged 8 warriors, 3 meters tall, chitin gleaming, plasma blades humming. They swept suburbs with clinical precision. Doors kicked in. Families lined up, executed, recorded, uploaded to the Hive archives as pest control. Thorne's band struck at 0300. They had scavenged a Zithari supply crate, found thermal charges, a single pulse rifle, a data shard. The shard held patrol routes. Thorne studied it by the light of a dying flare. "We hit the fuel depot at the old stadium," he said, voice flat. No one argued. They moved through drainage tunnels slick with runoff and blood. The girl, her name was Mara, carried the charges. She didn't cry anymore, just stared straight ahead, knuckles white. At the stadium, floodlights carved the fog into pillars. Zithari sentries patrolled in pairs. Their footsteps shook the earth. Thorne signaled. The pilot, Jenkins, took the shot. Pulse rifle cracked. One sentry dropped, thorax exploding in blue fire. The second turned. Too late. Mara sprinted, planted the charges on the fuel tanks, and ran. The explosion lit the night like a second sun. Shockwave flattened blocks. Zithari warriors thrown skyward, limbs pinwheeling. Thorne watched from a rooftop, wind whipping ash across his scars. For the first time in days, he smiled. Krazel received the report aboard the Dominion. A minor setback, fuel loss, 0.7%. Casualties, 14 drones. He dismissed it with a flick of claw until the data shard's secondary protocol activated. A human voice, recorded, distorted, played across every Zithari comm channel. Thorne's voice. "You burned our cradle. We'll salt your gardens." Static dot. Krazel's mandibles froze. The hive mind rippled with something new. Not fear. Zithari did not fear, but irregularity. On Earth, Thorne's team vanished into the tunnels. Behind them, the stadium burned for 3 days. The fire's glow could be seen from orbit. A beacon. A promise. Deep beneath the Rockies, an emergency council convened. Humanity's remnants, generals, scientists, warlords, argued over scraps of power. Thorne stood silent in the back, arms crossed. A 4-star general pointed at him. "You're a loose cannon, Captain. Your stunts draw attention." Thorne met his gaze. Good. The argument escalated. Accusations of hoarding supplies, rumors of collaboration. Then the lights flickered. A low hum filled the chamber. Screens lit up with Zethari script. A live feed. Krazel's face filled the wall. Compound eyes reflecting the council like 1,000 tiny mirrors. "Primitive council," he said, voice dripping contempt. "Surrender your coordinates. Spare yourselves further inconvenience." Silence. Then Mara stepped forward, still clutching the scorched teddy bear. She looked up at the screen. "My mom said bugs hate light." She pressed a button on a stolen remote. Every screen in the chamber went white. A pulse weapon, reverse-engineered from Zethari tech, detonated in orbit. The Dominion's shields flared, buckled, failed for 0.8 seconds. Long enough. Thorne was already moving. He grabbed a rifle, kicked open a side door, and vanished into the dark. Behind him, the council erupted into chaos. Some cheered. Some reached for sidearms. In the tunnels, Thorne found Jenkins waiting with a stolen Zethari skiff. "Ship's vulnerable," Jenkins said, grinning through burned lips. Windows closing. Thorne climbed aboard. Mara followed. Teddy bear tucked under her arm. The skiff roared to life, punching through a collapsed ceiling into the night sky. Above, the Dominion hung like a black moon, its hull scarred by the pulse. Crew scrambling, Krazel barking orders. Thorne's voice crackled over stolen comms. "This is for Seattle." The skiff accelerated. Engines screaming, straight toward the dreadnought's exposed reactor core. The skiff punched through debris fields, dodging automated turrets. Inside, alarms blared in Zethari script. Thorne strapped in, knuckles white. Mara sat beside him, eyes wide but unafraid. Jenkins piloted, hands steady despite the missing fingers. "Reactors shielded," Jenkins shouted over the roar. But the pulse cracked the lattice. "We hit it now. We take the whole ship." Thorne nodded. No speeches, just action. On the Dominion's bridge, panic rippled through the hive. Krazel's claws dug into the command throne. "Intercept them." Fighters scrambled. Sleek interceptors with plasma lances. They closed fast. The skiff jinked through fire. One interceptor clipped their wing. Sparks showered the cockpit. Mara screamed. Then bit it back. Thorne unstrapped, grabbed the pulse rifle, leaned out the breech, fired 3 shots. One interceptor exploded. The others peeled off, confused by the skiff's erratic path. They were close now. The Dominion filled the viewport. Black metal. Glowing veins of energy. The reactor core pulsed like a dying star. Jenkins grinned. Ramming speed. Thorne looked at Mara. "Close your eyes." She did. The skiff slammed into the core. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then reality tore open. A blue-white sphere expanded, swallowing the dreadnought's midsection. Bulkheads vaporized. Crew flash-fried mid-scream. Krazel had 1 second to realize. The mammals weren't surrendering. They were hunting. The Dominion split in half. Debris spiraled into Earth's gravity well, burning up like fallen angels. On the ground, survivors watched the sky rain fire. Some wept, some laughed. Thorne's voice, recorded, played one last time across every frequency. "We're still here." But the victory was hollow. In the chaos, a second Zethari fleet emerged from hyperspace. Bigger, newer, led by high strategist Vexithara. A being of cold calculus and no mercy. She broadcast to the remnants of humanity. "Your resistance is noted, irrelevant. Prepare for total erasure." Her ships deployed something new. Black orbs, silent. They drifted toward Earth, ignoring defenses. One landed in the Rockies, near the Emergency Council. The orb opened. Inside, not weapons, A child, human, alive, eyes blank, a message carved into its arm in Zithari script. We took your future. Now watch it walk. The council chamber fell silent. Deep in the Pacific Trench, something else stirred. An ancient signal, older than Zithari, older than humanity, a warning. The orbs weren't weapons, they were keys. Thorn's skiff had carried more than explosives. A fragment of alien tech, salvaged from the data shard, had embedded in the reactor. It activated on impact. A beacon. Across the galaxy, dormant machines woke. Structures the size of moons unfolded from asteroid belts. Eyes of cold light turned toward Sol. Vexithara received the ping. Her fleet altered course not toward Earth, away, fast on Earth. Thorn crawled from the skiff's wreckage, burned, broken, alive. Mara dragged him clear as the forest burned around them. Jenkins was gone, vaporized in the blast. Thorn looked up. The sky was wrong. Stars moving, not stars. Ships. Thousands. Not Zithari. Something older. Mara tugged his sleeve. Captain, what did we do? Thorn stared at the approaching armada. Silhouettes like cathedral spines. Weapons charging with light that hurt to perceive. He laughed, a dry, cracked sound. We pissed off the wrong gods. The ancient fleet didn't fire, it just watched. From orbit, their sensors peeled Earth apart layer by layer, scanned the black orbs, the child with carved flesh, the burning cities, the humans still fighting with sticks and rage. A transmission, not words, concepts. Forced into human minds like ice picks. You opened the vault. You woke the gardeners. Now reap. Thorn's skull split with pain. He saw flashes. Zithari worlds glassed eons ago. Entire species archived in crystal. Humanity's extinction scheduled for next cycle. But the schedule just moved up. Vexithara's fleet fled at maximum burn. Her last message. Abandon Sol, the Reapers come. On the ground, the child from the orb blinked. Spoke with a voice not its own. Host Thorn, you carry the key. Thorn looked down. The alien tech fragment, now fused to his chest, glowing, pulsing in time with the ancient ships. Mara backed away. You're infected. Thorn touched the metal, felt it think. No, he said. I'm the trap. The council arrived in gunships, generals shouting, scientists scanning. They wanted the fragment, wanted to weaponize it. Thorn refused. They raised rifles. He didn't fight, just walked into the forest. Mara followed. The teddy bear left behind. Burning. Deep in the woods, they found others. Not human. Zithari defectors. A Krogan-like brute with a plasma scar across its chest. A sleek avian scout with broken wings. They knelt, not in surrender, in recognition. The Krogan spoke first, gravel voice. Your species broke the cycle, we follow the breaker. Thorn didn't ask why, didn't curry. He just pointed to the sky, the ancient fleet descending. Then, we break them too. They built a new resistance, not for Earth. Earth was gone. For what came next? The Reapers landed, not ships being's titanic geometry that hurt to perceive. They didn't speak, just unmade cities erased by thought, oceans boiled by presence. Humanity fought anyway, with stolen tech, with teeth, with the fragment in Thorns. Chest singing a song of defiance. In the final battle, beneath a sky of collapsing stars, Thorn faced the Reaper Prime, a being of light and silence. It offered mercy. Cease, join the archive. Thorn spat blood. We don't archive, we burn. He triggered the fragment, not a bomb. A question. Broadcast to every mind in the galaxy. What happens when the prey evolves? The Reapers froze. For the first time in billions of years. Uncertainty across the stars. Species rose, not in hope, in hunger. The Zathari Empire fractured. Old alliances shattered. New ones formed in blood, and Firethorn died on that battlefield. Mara carried his body into the ashes, planted the fragment in the soil. It grew, not a tree, a signal, a promise. The galaxy watched, waited, feared. Because humanity didn't win, we just refused to lose. And in the silence after the last Reaper fell, a new voice echoed across the void. Not human, not alien. Something forged in the crucible of extinction. Everyone else saw weakness. Humanity saw a reason to fight harder. Thanks for watching.